What were you yelling?
I said you didn't have new music for the new year.
No new music. Listen,
Let's spice it up.
The capital budget for my little office is not capital. I can tell you that
I'll
much.
give Nate a call after the meeting.
Let's bring it down. Let's bring it down. We're self-funded over here. Unless you know what I do have. Welcome in, by the way. It is Monday, January 5th.
Are we live?
9,000%. We are 90 days out from April 5th. Your DTD2 this week, starting the brand new year. You're calling your A's and W's, and you're texting your N's. You're interacting with your A's and W's and your N's. I say calling, and people get like hives, and they get all worked up. You don't have to call anybody. There, I said it. Do you feel better now? You don't have to call anybody. We're going to talk about interactions, but we're certainly not talking about I saw somebody and I waved. That is not a contact, and we'll get to that at some point, but that's not for right now. For right now is what were you were looking for new music? You know what I have, Pedro, that Janina found going through either Cameron's room or Aiden's room within the last year, and I have it now. It's moved to my bureau, but I haven't brought it into the office, and I need to because I want to do it so bad. You've seen the meme online where somebody takes like we call them. I'm a masshole, so we call them flutophones, which is not the technical term. The recorders, those plastic things you played in grade school. But you've seen people online, somebody's playing it, but they're butchering My Heart Will Go On from Titanic. That's what I want to do. That's going to be the new music for the quick start. Yes.
I love it.
Quite possibly. It is pretty cool this week, though. I'm glad you brought it up. Thank you for the tip of the hat. I started the quick start, carry the 4, divide by 3 in like May of 15. So the quick start will be going on her 11th year when we get to May. Crazy. If I'm carrying the math right. This is our 4th year of Fight Club starting this week, and it will be our 2nd year of the Midday Protocol. So a lot of stuff that's been added to the calendar merely to give you a better idea of what you should. Yeah. Yes. Well, look at the gray.
Because when I first started, there was like 6 of us that would meet at 8 a.m. in the training room.
We would, yes, and that's when Diana Kokoska, the queen of the North, Diana Kokoska would have her morning call, and that I think nationally now that's been replaced by James Shaw, obviously. But yeah, she always did that call. We would, and then yeah, you guys would sit and actually do. Hold on, I want to make sure Gary's listening. You on the line? He's on the line. Actually do lead generation in the morning.
Well, we'd script. We'd do the call. We'd script, or we'd talk about issues at hand, script, and then we'd go out and make calls.
Yep. Good stuff. It was good stuff.
That I would say that.
And if I remember correctly, there were 7 of you. So it was you, Cody. Yeah. I'm thinking.
No, not Cody. Coda.
Well, Sean Cody was in there.
I don't think he was ever around when we did that. Chris Siddick. Kimberly Reserve.
You Siddick Reserve, Coda, and then you got Jesse was in the room, and then Brad Stevens. Yep. And most of you are still in. Coda has retired, and Jesse's off to finance, as I believe he's doing financials.
I'm gonna mute myself.
We're all here. Anyway, Pedro's hanging out. We're going to have our conversation about commercial. It is the first Monday of the month, and that's what we do. I love that you checked on me yesterday. You're like, are we good for tomorrow? That's why I wrote back. I was a little slapstick. I'm like, are you good?
I know.
I'm here every day. It's whether somebody wants to join me or not. That's all. Anyway, real quick on the schedule so we can talk about commercial. We're escaping out of here. It is Ignite is back for the winter session. Ignite starts at 9:00. That's at KellerIgnite.com. Dr. Susan Kenyon leads the conversation as we get started. KellerIgnite.com. That's going to run straight through, perfectly timed. You're welcome, America. Right through Friday the 20th. So if you're escaping to go to Atlanta for family reunion, that's probably your travel day, I trust. So we're going to squeeze that in and have that done before we head off to Atlanta. That is Monday, Wednesday, and Friday from 9 to 11. At the same time, if you are a graduate of Ignite, you could always jump back in. It's never a problem to do that. You could also be over in the study hall, which we call Fight Club, KWFightClub.com, 9 to 11. Cameras on, microphones off. People are like, well, that doesn't make any sense. Why would I go there? I can just do it myself. I'm going to beg a question as your friend and your coach. Are you doing it yourself? The reason we have this space, which seems maniacal to sit in a room with your camera on and microphone off and do the things, is we know humans like doing hard things together. So that's why we've created this space. So if it works for you, great. If it doesn't work for you, don't join us. That's also fine, because everything on this calendar that we offer is just a mere suggestion. What have I said a trillion times? I'm not here to tell you how to run your business. I'm here to offer best practices. And we know using your morning to set the appointments for your face to go on in the afternoon is a best practice for most, maybe not for all. Then we head into Command Jumpstart. Maggie McDowell, our regional tech trainer, is doing this all week long. That's at 11 o'clock. The registration for that is in the morning news. 1 o'clock, midday protocol, timsoffice.com. We ask 3 questions about your conversations, your appointments, and your contracts. That gets started at 1 o'clock, and that is Monday through Friday at 1, timsoffice.com. Just talking about what we did or didn't do in the morning. I mean, maybe there's a dash of Catholic guilt in there if you're like, wow, I didn't do anything. Though the veterans show up and talk about their zeros. And that's important. If you're not willing to talk about your daily zeros, you're probably going to ignore your weekly zeros. Then the quarter's over, then the year's over, and you're pissed. So don't be pissed. Just come to the midday protocol and own up to what you're doing and not doing. That's what we're doing. You've got your brokers at 1:30 every Monday. Ask the brokers what happened over the weekend. Burning questions you didn't get answered in contracts. Maybe you missed contracts. Maybe you shouldn't miss contracts. Anyway, 1:30 every Monday, ask the brokers. And then 2:30, tech your business to the next level, again, with Maggie McDowell. And then at 3 o'clock, 25 and 26 with the Tiffany Hampton. There's your Monday, an absolute full slate. And we start it with Pedro. Question for you, sir, because I think there's a misconception that people are like, well, so he's in commercial, so I'm sure he just, everything he's doing is different. How similar is what you need to do for your business? Like when we get to January, like you and I, before we came on the air, we're talking about the fact like, oh my God, it's the 5th. Here we are again. How much of your restart, or maybe you don't feel a restart? I think a lot of people mentally like to turn the page because they want to do something different, or they're going to raise their achievement ceiling. Are you fundamentally doing wildly different things as a commercial broker as opposed to a residential agent to run your business? Or is it just more of the same, obviously just with a different view? And obviously some things are different, but the brass tacks of what you're doing on a regular basis.
I would say when it comes to the top, the 80-20 rule, the 20% of what I do is the same as residential agents. If I'm not lead genning, I'm dying. So like, you know what I mean? And working in my business is very similar. But beyond that, I have different tools to market properties. I have different classes I have to take. But everything from, lead genning, having an accountability partner, having a script partner, having a coach, all that is the same.
You brought up the 80-20 rule, Pareto principle. It's the mindset is, Pareto was an Italian economist that years ago said 20% of the people. He looks great. Well, he did at the end. Not right at the end, before the end. He glowed. You know how there's a little glow up right before you say goodbye? That's when he looked great. We don't have any pictures. We have microfiche. It's in the library. I'll show you later. What is he talking about? I'm back, and I've only taken like 3 sips. So Godspeed, everybody. Godspeed, everybody.
80-20.
So yeah, Pareto principle is he was an Italian economist, and he basically ran the math with his abacus sliding beads, and he said 20% of the people own 80% of the land. So it's 20% of your efforts give you 80% of your results. So it feels counterintuitive because people are like, well, no, I should be doing so much more. And I've changed it, and I change it every year to something that people may or may not notice. But this year, under KWikStart on the morning news, it says consistency over intensity. And that will always be the way, like just making sure that every day you're doing something in your business to move the needle. Are you doing lead gen, some form of lead gen every day? And I say that as your coach, Monday through Friday, I want you with a headset on, eye black and a mouthpiece, like doing the damn thing if that's your schedule. Saturday and Sunday, like whatever day you celebrate your faith, whatever day you're going to spend with your family, do I want you like with a headset making calls? I don't want you to be doing that. I want you to be alive and be listening for opportunity. But I think people are just like, no, I have to be doing this all of the time. No, we have to be doing it with consistency 20% of the time. Like our big rocks are 20%. So What does that look like for you? How does that play out in your schedule? Like what's the thing that you do on a regular basis that if you look back at 25, Pedro, you could say, okay, me doing this, I can blame X amount of my business on that.
9 to 11 phone calls, and that's, and I guess where the difference comes, my sphere is the large part of the calls. The general pop. That's the majority of my calls, but then every day I have to call 2 to 3 lenders because then it's not the same. That's a big difference in commercial. So I need to see what they're lending on and what their tolerance is for different types of deals. I'm calling agents in my sphere as well. And then I'm also calling people from municipalities and comptrollers for different counties.
You bring up such a great point. I know it's obvious for somebody who's a commercial agent to be like, well, I need to make sure that I'm staying in touch with all of the brokers because obviously a lot of the residential kids are going to say, hey, I'm going to send this to Pedro because I don't have my commercial license and he's my guy that I slide stuff to. And I think for some reason, a lot of residential agents, and we hear this all the time, I'll run the math in business planning clinic or in a coaching conversation. I'll say, hey, how many people do you have in your database? And they'll give me a number. And then I'll, and nationally, and we're still right there with this number, it's multiplied by 0.06. Because historically, and again, this year, we know that about 6% of the United States will be involved in or right next to a transaction. And when we run those numbers, people will just like, yeah, but half of those numbers, like a veteran will say this, Pedro, and you've heard it before. Half the people in my phone to me, half the people in my database are agents. Okay, right? Like, why are we not talking to them? And I know for you, it can be more of a highlight because you want to make sure that, you're talking to people within our market center and other brokerages that are residential that you could work with. When for you, because obviously you started residential, you've transitioned into commercial. When for you did it hit you? And we talk about it a lot, but people don't hear unless they want to or maybe need to, that, hey, the Lindsays that I just sold a house to, Timmy's got his own business. Like, does he have brick and mortar for that? Or in your commercial life too, reverse engineer it. You've got like, hey, I just helped, them grab this brick and mortar for their business. They obviously don't sleep in the woods. Like, am I helping them residentially? Like, at what point of your residential career did it hit you that you should be asking those questions on a regular basis about what else can I help you with, whether it's an investment or a commercial property for their business?
To be honest with you, early on, I would say, I remember getting the generic form, questionnaire for when you're sitting down with a buyer. And I remember it said, are you looking for a single family house or a condo? And I'm like, what about multifamily? Why is that not there? Mm-hmm. And when I put that in there, it just started more of a conversation and realized that people aren't thinking about multifamilies. And that was just one incidence of a light going on going, wait, I need to have a well-rounded conversation to make sure that the people I'm working with have the best information and the best insight on the market.
So for you, when you look at your schedule for the year,
I don't do that, by the way.
I love the honesty. I'm here for it.
No. But to be fair, I break everything down into quarters. Is there an overall business plan for the year? Yes, but I'm checking myself every Friday. But then I have blocked off time to look into and plan for the next quarter. What is working? What needs adjustments and stuff like that.
Okay, so great book. If you haven't read it, it is Brian Moran's 12-week year. Obviously, there's 13 weeks in a quarter. If you have not grabbed a copy for yourself, please look it up. It's Brian Moran, 12-week year. And the whole preface of that book, to Pedro's point, is, we get overwhelmed. We either get overwhelmed by the magnitude of 365 days, or we give ourselves too much slack. Because you'd be like, I still have time. I still have time. I still have time. And then the next thing you know, it's Pi Day, and you're like, fuck. Like, I don't have any more time. Like, it's,
the slack was my problem.
Oh, knowing you had more room.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So Brian Moran's book is fantastic and just chunking it down. And we talk about this in Business Planning Clinic, like going up to your someday goal, whenever that is, whenever you're going to be in a thatch hut with sand in your toes, and then walking it back. Is it 15 years, 10 years, 5 years, one, and then just keep chunking it down. So we're doing it now at the Market Center. That's what the midday protocol is. It's really the 15th protocol, which you could have one every month for the 15th protocol, or every quarter as you're moving through the quarter, to Pedro's point. But every day, that's what 1 o'clock is. Did I do this morning what I needed to do? So for you, for your quarter, what are the big things that you're going to do for your growth, right? Our business grows to the extent that we do. So what are you doing as a commercial agent to make sure iron sharpens iron?
Yeah, I think I have some core fundamentals. It's lead gen, education, and community involvement. And
what's the education stuff that you're doing in Q1?
I have 2 CCIM classes to take. And there's some things that we're rolling out at Cyborg for the education committee that we're building, but also partaking in.
Awesome. What was the best part of your break now that we're back? Did you see the boy?
Oh yeah, I got to see a lot of family and friends, and going back to the year, what you look at. I have a real hard thing with the one thing. You know what I mean? What is that one thing? Because mine is not a SMART goal. It's not measurable, or I haven't figured out. And please, if anybody's out there, I'd love to have a further conversation on this. But it's to be present with my friends and family, the people I love, and not having not living in my phone when I'm with them. Not, do I still have my computer in the satchel for an emergency? Yes, but
sure,
not even thinking about it. And I think this was the first holiday stretch in 10 years that I was able to just, I was present. It wasn't measurable, but family members and friends mentioned how nice it was that I was there. So however you measure that, it worked.
Very cool. What's the goal with sailing this year? That's your big thing. I mean, would you say that's your, where, I mean, not that I'm good, but I like to golf. And I don't have a number in my head. Like if it's not snowing, I'm going out on Saturday, but like for you, what's the goal with sailing, or is it something else?
You mean
for recreation, to make sure that you're unplugging enough over the summer?
Oh yeah. So I had missed a handful of races the years before. This past summer, I made all but one. So that was good. I'd like to keep that going. But yeah, I think I kind of work every day, but I also play every day. So if I'm not sailing, I'm golfing or fly fishing, or, you know what I mean? I try to plan my day and structure my day so I have some grinding and some release. And so as long as I can keep that balance or counterbalance, as Matt Ergman talks about, that's the ultimate goal.
Yeah, I love that you said that. There's everybody talks about work-life balance, and you and I both know it's bullshit. Like you're choosing every day. Something's going to win every day. And arguably, I think during the week, obviously our business takes precedent. And then, but as I've always said, my goal is to make sure you guys are doing it in such a way that when you do get home, you can be present, not just physically in the building, but also put your phone down, be listening, and be there for the people that you care about.
I just want to chime in real quick I always thought I was going to get there with being able to the counterbalance and being present once I got so much money, as soon as it stacked up, then that would free it. I learned in the last couple of years, that's not what freed me to do that. It was taking control of my calendar and being disciplined with my calendar is actually what brought me the ability to go and have counterbalance and being present where I wanted to be present. It has nothing to do with the dollar in my pocket. It has to do with controlling my time.
Well, and that's really interesting that you say that. I caught something over the weekend, and it might have been, he's actually going to be at Social Con, which is the Sunday of family reunion. Gary Vee was talking about, you get to a certain financial status and you'll notice you and everyone in your circle, because you're the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with, people of influence, people of wealth, whether it's social wealth or financial wealth, they move quickly. And the reason they move quickly is they have, for lack of a better term, they have satisfied their financial goals, right? You know, I think you get to a certain number, and we'll just talk about, you know, the uber rich. Let's talk about somebody like Bezos. Bezos is moving quick now because the only currency he's worried about and the only one he can't make more of is time. You know, so the joke is, you think, you know, hey, who could use some work around here? And not that we shouldn't be helping everybody out, but you think about, hey, I'm going on vacation. I'd love to ask Julie to help me out, but she's got so much going on. But if you want to get something done, you give it to somebody who's shaking, because they've figured out the skills and the efficiencies to still get it done. That's why we don't say busy in front of the humans. What is that? That is the Jamie Hassenfuss rule. Don't say busy out loud. I talk about it at least once a week. At least once a week. Pedro will be joining us Mondays throughout the year, every first Monday of the month. He will probably text me on Sunday to make sure that I'm going to be okay, that I'm going to be. I love that you checked in on me. I'm like, dude, really? Hey, you're going to be there at 8:30? Yes, I'll be there at 8:30.
Well, it's better than me texting you and saying, hey, I'm thinking about showing up on Monday. You know,
well, listen.
It's all how you present it.
Listen. I've been stood up by better men and women than you. Don't worry. It's like prom night every month when you don't show up for me, Pedro. All right, we are escaping. If we can help with anything, Pedro, for referral purposes, or if somebody has a question about the journey for a commercial, where can they reach you? Best point of contact.
339-224-0912.
Perfect. And if you need to book my face, you can go to meetwithcoach.com. We will see you in Fight Club and Ignite, just minutes away right here at KWCLM. Take care.